Yes, this is Caulfield Cult's first CD. We put this out ourselves actually, so we actually paid for the pressing. It was from a pressing plant in KL. I had to take a bus down to KL one weekend, collect like a box of like 500 CDs, and then bring it back to Singapore myself. Oh, I haven't seen this in a long time.
What's the album called?
Leaving Cemetery Junction. Cemetery Junction is a movie by Ricky Gervais. So the movie is about like 3 people who wanted to leave their small town. So I think that was quite relevant to like what we were feeling at the time, wanting to like leave Singapore and tour the world.
It's chaos! It's chaos! It's chaos! It's chaos! It's chaos!
Punk music is characterized by short, fast songs. Lyrically, they are usually about being anti-establishment and questioning things. The first gig I ever played was in a place called Guest House. It's in 2006. And then we played at like 3 p.m. on a Saturday, and there were like maybe like 6 people in front of us watching. I pulled all my circle of friends from school who like were obviously very out of place there and just confused. There were like a couple of bands who are like the big brothers of the hardcore scene at the time, and they were going on a tour. When the tour was announced, I was like, wow, like Singapore bands going on tour, that's like such a huge deal, right? So I messaged like one of the guys from the band, and then I just said like, whoa, you're going on tour, that's so cool. And then he was like, dude, I don't want to go, you want to go instead? I was like, why? He's like, I need to save up to like fix my motorbike or something. I thought he was joking, then I'm like, yeah, I would definitely go. And then he was like, okay, I'll like let the rest know. So this band was called Mouthful of Air. To me, that was a huge deal back then, you know. So we did the whole like Southeast Asian circuit a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. I just fell in love with like the lifestyle and the idea of touring and traveling, meeting people with the same ideals and interests as you. So that band eventually dissolved after a year or 2. So I formed another band with some of my close friends then called the Caulfield Cult. You know, this band was formed with a very clear intention of wanting to tour. So like, our first show was in Malaysia, was in Sabah. So we actually did 2 tours in like mainland Malaysia, Sabah, Sarawak, and the Philippines. I think we played like 8 or 9 shows before we actually even like played our first show in Singapore. One day I think I promoted the band on forums, and then like some guy who also played in the band from Scotland replied and said like, oh, if you're ever in the UK, I will love to like book you guys and play together. It might have been a passing remark, but I was just like, oh, okay, like let's go, let's do it. So like open Google Maps and like, oh, okay, so this guy can put a show for us like here, and this guy can put a show for us here, and if we can find a show here and here, and then like there's a tour. When we first flew to UK, I think all of us were very excited. Like, I had never been out of Southeast Asia before in my life. And then we were all expecting like, oh man, we're going to like London, where like punk was from. So we were really hyped up but I mean in reality it's like you're a nobody band from Singapore. You know, you have no like marketing or like management or PR or label over there. The reception isn't always great Like, to be honest, like nobody likes to say this, but I think more than half the shows we struggle to get like 30 people.
Stealing this shop's Wi-Fi because the venue doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi or die.
Wi-Fi!
Sometimes we are lucky enough to be able to like open for a bigger band or play with bands who already have a following, and then we can tap into that. In the later years, we were fortunate enough to be invited to play like some big-ish festivals with like big bands. So those shows were always good. Sometimes we can get like hundreds of people at a show, but yeah, most of the shows like the weekdays, Mondays, Tuesdays, you know, they are rarely good. This is one experience. We played a show in Nuremberg in 2013. It's like the south of Germany. The promoter told us that that same day there is a big like metal or punk festival happening like an hour away. So everyone is there. So he just told us to like manage our expectations. Then we like, yeah, fine. Like, we're a punk band, I don't care. If there's like 5 people, I will still play. We say that, but ended up, right, only 2 people turned up. It's quite sian to see lah, you know. So after a while, it's a bit discouraging lah, you know. You grind it out so much, like at home, in life, and like work multiple jobs that you hate, to like fly all the way there, and then like you play to like 5 people.
I've returned back down to earth after trying to catch those stars for years.
When I decided to end the Caulfield Cult, like I was very, very jaded and like burnt out already. You know, I was exhausted. I really just wanted to like just chill at home and not have to worry about all the things that I had to worry, like being in the DIY touring band. I always knew that like I was living on like borrowed time lah. You know, I like even at the start when I started my bands, I always knew that there will be a point of time where like this ends and like real life begins, right? But I think that's what makes it like special, because it's so short-lived, and you know the fact that it ended at a good time. So I always have like fond memories of it, and you know it's stories that I'll always talk about to the people who I shared these memories with.
Thank you to all of you in advance for your time and your attention with the Caulfield Cult. Thank you.
Tired of being broke, still I'm always on the road. Burned out at 22, oh I feel so fucking old. Sad and going cold.